Well, I am so glad that you're here. Welcome to Point of Change. I'm Pastor Todd, if you don't know. I'm chosen, challenged, and charged. And today, we finish a sermon series that we've been going through called Immediately. We've been going through the book of Mark. Now, the book of Mark's going to continue into the next sermon series, so continue with your small groups. And if you've not joined a small group, there's still time to join one. You've not missed anything, just go ahead. I mean, you've missed a lot of fun, but you can continue with the small groups. But next week, we have a new sermon series starting, and the name of the sermon series is What Had Happened Was. That's the name of the series, and we're talking about the stories of Easter. So make sure you don't just invite people to Easter, invite people every Sunday up until Easter as well, because we're going to tell the stories of Jesus starting next week.
Welcome, guys. I think we really need this series because oftentimes we are familiar with the stories, but we forget how special they are. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the series.
No, I don't think we need this series.
We don't need this series.
You don't?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, because we know these stories,
Right.
like the back of our hand.
Exactly.
We don't need this series. We know the Easter stories, right?
Okay.
We know them.
So let's see how well you know them. We're going to play a little game.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to say the title, and you guys are going to tell me what you think happened.
Oh,
Okay?
I'll tell you what I know.
Okay. You're going down. You're going down.
Okay, there's no
All right.
fights, but okay.
First story. Peter denies Jesus 3 times.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, me too.
You
I got. I'll go first. Okay, so what had happened was my cousin Peter. You guys know Peter, my cousin. Y'all know him. Anyways, he was at home and he was watching TV. And you know what you do when you're at home and no one else is there? He was watching in his underwear, as we do. And he was eating chips. He was eating chips. And he was drinking some pop. Okay, so then Jesus comes to the door and he's like, Peter. And he's like, oh no, I'm in my underwear. No, Jesus, you can't come in. Okay. And so then he was like, no, Peter, I really need to be let in. So then he stands up and all of his chips fall on the floor. Classic Peter. Yeah. Then he's like, no, Jesus, you really can't come in. And so he says, no, Peter, this is really important. So then Peter's like, fine, I'm going to let him in. And then he spills his pop all over him. And he's like, no, not today, Jesus. And Jesus was like, Peter, I really need to talk to you. He goes, okay, it's Jesus, so I'm going to let him in. And he goes to the door, and Jesus sees him, and he's like, nah, it can wait till later.
That's not what had happened.
Yes.
I know what had happened. So what had happened was, Peter is actually Peter, Paul, and Mary. And they have this pet dragon named Puff. And so they were by the sea, frolicking in the autumn mist, as one does. Yeah, and Peter was like, I think I smell marijuana. And yes, no. And Puff's like, no, it's not me. And they're like, are you sure, Puff, because you smell like weed? And Puff's like, nope, it's not me. And then like a third time, they're like, are you sure you haven't? Because I smell it. And Puff's like, not me. And that's what happened.
Well, that's not what
No?
happened. It's not what happened. So,
We're wrong?
I mean, I have heard that one before.
Yeah.
that's not it. Let's move on, though. Next story.
So I won that one?
What?
I won that one? Oh.
Neither of you won because that didn't happen. Okay. Next story. Peter cuts his ear off. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
The ear cut off?
Yeah, it wasn't Peter though, when I heard it.
No.
Okay,
What-
no.
what
What
had happened
happened was, this is hilarious. My friend Gianni owns a pizza shop, okay? And he's at like the most popular pizza shop in town. But he only works by himself, so he's always doing everything by himself. And there was one day he's over there turning the dough and adding the sauce, and he's slicing the pizza. And he slices his ear off. And they were like, what happened? And there's like an ear on a pizza. And they were like, call Jesus. And so Jesus comes and he puts his ear back on his head, just like snaps that back on there. And was like, Gianni, I think you need to hire more employees because I think you're doing too much by yourself. And that's the story of the man who got his ear cut off.
No, that's not it.
You guys weren't there.
You don't even read the Bible. So I know what had happened. What had happened was, last week's worship service was so good, and it's powerful, and all the teenagers rushed the stage because we were so good, and I'm down with young people vernacular. You guys are old, but I know what the young people say. Yes, and so one of the teens came up and said, Pastor Todd, that was so good, I wanted to cut my ear off. That's what the young people say. So that's what had happened.
Not a phrase. Okay.
No, it's not.
Next story. The Last Supper. Please get this one right.
Oh yeah, the
Okay,
last
I
supper.
cannot believe they told you this
The
story.
last time,
of the
it's a great
Last Supper.
story. Yeah.
Okay, so Adam is kind of rude, okay? He holds a supper with his guy friends every single week, and I don't get invited. And I called up my girls and I said, this will not stand. We're not gonna not get invited anymore. This is the last supper that we don't get invited to. And so we dress up in baggy clothes. I put on a hat, we get a beard on, we start practicing our deep voices. We're like, pass the bread. And then we go to the dinner, and they don't even know that we're there. They think we're guys. And then at the end, we stand up and we rip our hats off, and we're like, we got you. And this is the last supper we won't be invited to.
No, that's not what had happened. Are you even a Christian? No, here's what had happened. The Last Supper, and this is why I was late to practice, because I was in the bathroom. The Last Supper was warm gas station sushi, and I think something wasn't quite right with it, and so the Last Supper really did a number on me. So that's
I don't
it.
understand how I'm not a Christian from my story, but you just told everybody that you were pooping yourself. I'm confused.
I felt holy water on my skin.
Neither of those are right. Okay.
We're not right?
Trust me, guys. That's not the story. You guys are gonna have to come back and find out what really happened. But would you guys welcome Pastor Lisa?